Hello. It is the first Wednesday of the month, and that means it's time for another Courier Live product release notes. I'm here with my co-host Nate, and we're going to go over everything that we released last month. How's it going, Nate?
It's going great. It's June. I'm excited for summer.
I can't believe it's June, but some pretty exciting things happened last month, right? There was something anniversarial.
Oh yeah, I guess that makes I've been here a year now. So
yeah,
that's also hard to believe.
Congrats, 1 year at Courier. For those of you out there, if you have talked to people on Intercom, it was probably Nate. So feel free to drop a thank you in the chat. It's been great having you for a year. Other things.
When you said forgot an anniversary, I panicked for 1 second.
Oh no, yeah, I have your wife on the line, and she's not happy. No, but something else really big happened last month. I brought home my new corgi puppy, Atticus. He's around here somewhere, probably sleeping in the bathroom.
Looking cute.
Yeah, and if you want to see him, you can join me on my stream on Fridays. He makes quite a few appearances by popular demand. But other than that, we are going to talk to a few familiar folks from previous streams. We'll have them on here. We'll touch base with our in-app team. We'll touch base with automations. And then we have a new team to bring onto the stream, activation. And so we've got a lot of great things coming up for you. So let's get into it, shall we?
Yes.
All right. So here we go. And I got to get to the right screen. So first, we want to encourage everyone to join us on our Discord server. We got a little bit of upgraded graphics here coming out. But discord.gg/courier, you can talk to me, you can talk to Nate, you can talk to anybody on the Courier team, and lots of wonderful people who are currently using Courier. So we've been doing quite a bit of help. We have a help channel in there. We have a general channel where you can kind of, talk to anybody. But feel free to join us. It'll be fun. And you can ask for like pictures of the dogs and things like that. We're a very dog friendly, pet friendly company, and we're happy to share some photos. But first up, let's talk about in-app notifications and what's new from there. And we are going to bring in everybody's favorite in-app engineer, Riley Napier, as soon as I find her button. Hello, Riley.
Riley.
Just quickly, do you want to do a quick intro? I know your old hat. You've been on the stream many times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm a software engineer. I'm working on the in-app team. Our goal is to embed Courier components in other people's websites to make other websites seem more powerful by adding toast messages and inboxes and preferences and different things like that. And we have a couple new updates this week, and it's pretty exciting.
All right. So the first one, channel frame.
Yeah. So at Courier, we're really proud of our channel frames. If you've used us before, you'll see that when you're editing email, it looks like the email that you're sending. If you're playing with Slack, it looks like the Slack frame. And we finally got around to updating the channel frame so that when you edit the in-app messages, it looks like the in-app message that you're going to send. And then also when you get a preview, we're going to preview it and show you what the message looks like when it's rendered, but also what it looks like inside of your inbox. So that's a pretty exciting way for you to kind of preview your messages before you actually go out and send them.
Yeah, so I've been using in-app during the beta for different things. And like in the beginning, the channel frame was just kind of our generic push channel frame.
Mm-hmm.
So it had a title, it had what did it have? A title and then like a description and the buttons.
Yeah, title and body is all it really
Yeah.
had. We didn't even that was all we were really supporting at the time.
Yeah, and so now whenever I'm using specifically the Courier channel or the Courier provider, I can actually see what it's going to look like. It looks just like the toast notifications that come across, and what it will look like in the inbox. So that's really cool.
Yep.
Yeah. And then I think we have a sneak peek. So things that you're currently working on that hopefully we'll be talking about this time next month.
Yeah, so really we're focusing on trying to add more functionality to our toast messages. And you noticed it before in the previous slide, we have buttons on the far right.
Mhm.
And we kind of felt a little bit limited by only having 2 buttons, view details and dismiss, and then didn't really give you a chance to do much with it. So what we're doing is we're pushing the buttons down at the bottom. We will add multiple buttons for each row, but we're really kind of focusing on, hey, let's just make the actions a block if you're familiar with Courier. So that you can kind of like create like a longer message if you want. And then, we're going to think about doing a lot more cool functionality this way.
Yeah, that's very cool. Because like what we're seeing right now is we're seeing kind of the title, which is template published, but then we're actually seeing 2 Courier blocks on this template. So we've got the text block that has our variable for template name, and then we've got an action block that's got our buttons. And so we could actually put multiple text blocks, multiple button blocks on this, and it will just kind of like grow down, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's the idea that we're thinking, at least at this point, and it gets us a way to speak the same language as the rest of our channels, because everything is just kind of like a list of blocks.
Sure.
So it kind of makes things like more consistent with the rest of our application.
Yeah, and that kind of opens it up to more like block reuse. So like if you had multiple channels on the same notification, like you could share blocks between. So maybe this template name was recently published, was part of like a text message, but you can use that same block and drag it over.
Yeah, same with like the action blocks. Same action block you can drag over to an email or anything like that. So you can just reuse the blocks. Having them be on the far right meant that they were specifically for the in-app channel, which means that you couldn't reuse it. So we really want to focus on the reusability of it. So yeah.
Yeah.
And Riley, does that change the size of the toast if you add multiple blocks?
Yeah, so right now what happens when you get like a bigger toast, or like say you want to write a novel in your description, it will grow. We'll probably add ways to like truncate it or add scroll, or we haven't figured that part out yet. But right now, we don't anticipate people putting too much in there or adding too many blocks. We really think that people are going to put title, 1 or 2 sentences in a text block, and then add an action block. Theoretically, you could add like 10 text blocks, 10 action blocks, but we don't really anticipate that happening. We'll kind of see what the market says and see what customers use as they build it out, and then we'll kind of iterate as we get more information from people using it.
Yeah, that's great. And all of the in-app stuff is available to use. I think it's still under beta, but if you join our Discord, as I type this again because I put Discord, not right. If you join our Discord, say, hey, I'd love to try out in-app. We're always looking for more beta testers. You can talk to Riley. I know that you've been in there a lot helping out people getting started with it. But we're also interested in your feedback. So if you kind of like this idea and you have ideas about what should happen where, like we'd love that kind of feedback.
Yeah, and even if you don't want to use it and you just want to give feedback, like that's great too.
Yeah, and I think before we let you go, there was one more thing that you released that's not really quite part of in-app, but we wanted to make sure we covered it because it's pretty cool. And that
yeah, I was like, what
yeah,
Slack presence, and like this is really paving a way for more interactivity and more options in terms of other channels as well. But the idea here is that Slack has an API for presence where you can say, hey, is somebody online or not? If you go into your own Slack thing, you can set yourself away, you can set yourself active, and you can interact with that data property through an API. So what we do is when we send a Slack message, we say, hey, Slack, is this person online? If they're not online, we'll go to the next channel and say, hey, actually, you know what? Let's do it. Before we would just kind of try to send it and fail. But now we'll back out and we'll try the next channel, which is really cool because we want to extend this functionality to in-app itself, actually, because we want to say, hey, somebody actually in the app for in-app, cool. If they are, show them the message. If not, maybe we want to, send them a text or send them an email. So this is really paving the way for more functionality in terms of presence in app and other potential providers in the future.
Yeah, like Slack has always had like this really sophisticated notification system, and it's great that we can use Courier to just tap into that. Like so we know presence and things like that. So I set up the little demo to like kind of see how it worked. And what's really great is you can kind of set up your channels. You can put them in your preferred order like you typically do. But if you go into the settings for the channel settings for Slack, you now have this little checkbox for presence checking. And so once you turn that on, if the person's not online, it will just go on to the next one. So in my example right here, I want to send it to Slack, but if they're not online, I'm just going to send it to email. Yeah. Yep. And so it is something that you opt into. If you want presence checking turned on, you do have to go turn it on. Yeah.
Nice.
So this is cool. Well, thank you, Riley. We'll let you get back to work. I know there's a lot of exciting things being queued up for June, and we'll be excited to talk about them next month.
Cool. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
All right, let's do some switching around here.
It's 3:11 p.m. by the way.
Oh, thank you. Oh, my home mini is just talking to us. Oh yeah, and then there was this slide too. So not only not only can we turn on the presence, but this is just kind of an example in the logs where it will actually tell you in the logs why the route was taken. So you can see there's a reason user is away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, now we'll switch over. All right. And so that brings us to automations. This is a very exciting kind of new thing that we're doing here at Courier. I think did this all come out like starting in January? I think is when we
I think we started to talk about it though in April.
Oh, was it April? Yeah.
Yeah. It's
I think that
was becoming the answer to every question.
Yeah. So we set out automations, and we've just kept adding steps, adding features, and we have brought back Riley. Apparently, we have brought back Chris to tell us what he's been working on. Hey, Chris.
Hey, guys. Hey, how's it going? Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And I know we have you do this every time, but do you want to go ahead and give yourself a little introduction?
Yeah, sure. My name is Chris. I joined the Courier engineering team back in January. Today, I'm the lead engineer for the automations team, where we're building a tool that will allow you to easily orchestrate the timing and delivery logic of your notifications.
Yeah, like I know I'm quickly becoming like, I'm like, why would I not just send this as an automation? Like, because we started adding all of these things. I know last month we talked about the fetch data step, and I'm like, why would I write the extra code to like fetch this data and pass it over in data and then do a send whenever I could just put that into an automation and have that done, and then I can do extra things on top of there. So a lot of cool stuff that we have going, but let's talk about what we did last month. And so what we've got is
so last month we added a new step to the automations lineup. I like to think of this as kind of like the inception step. So this is the invoke step is a step that allows you to call another notification another automation template from within an automation template. So a template can call a template now. And this opens up all sorts of interesting use cases. It allows you to group automation steps logically together. And then so from one source of truth, you can execute and determine which set of steps you'd like to invoke based on, incoming data or based on your use case.
Sure. And so you're always bringing us the use cases. So do you want to go through what's going on in this one? So we've got some JSON.
Yeah. So on the right-hand side here, we have defined an automation template in JSON. And so the use case here is imagine you're a sales organization and you have clients in North America. You also have clients in Europe. So different time zones, right? Different rules, maybe different languages. So based on some incoming event, you want to know which notifications to send based on the region. So what the invoke step here allows you to do is define one template that can handle all of those use cases. So based on the incoming payload, either if it's North America or Europe, we'll invoke the corresponding automation template.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I can imagine, like, as time goes on and we add more features and more steps, these automation templates are just going to get really huge. And so being able to like break them up and call them separately, I think is going to be very powerful.
Yeah, exactly. It allows you to like group the steps logically, and then you can apply logic with like here, what we're doing with step conditionals to kind of like turn them on or off based on the incoming payload. So you could kind of make a more generic template and use it across, multiple different uses.
Would you get that data through a fetch data step, or would that be something that would come with the initial like send?
Yeah. That's a great question. So either would be supported, right? So if you would like to just call this through the API, you could provide the data payload. Maybe you're getting it from somewhere else on your own end. You can provide it via the API request. This could come from another template where you're doing a fetch data, and that will store the data behind the scenes for you, so you could reference it here in the other two invoke steps.
Cool. That's really cool.
Yeah. And so these templates that we're invoking, they have access to like the context of the steps. So if we were to do like a fetch data step to like enrich this automation with more information, whenever we invoke these extra templates, they have access to that data that we just pulled.
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly.
Nice.
Yeah.
This is cool. All right. And so that's Invoke. And then I think you have given us a little sneak peek. So something that you're currently working on that hopefully we'll be talking about next month.
Yeah. This is super exciting. So in its current form, the template designer is sort of like a JSON or JSONette editor.
Yeah.
And what we'd like to do is sort of bring better tooling and better functionality to that designer. So what we're going to have is the ability with a UI to create and design your automation templates. And this will provide a visual of how the template will behave once it's invoked.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But if you're like old school, Nate prefers to write just straight JSON it. Like, is he going to be left in the dark?
I'm not excited about this feature at all.
No way, man. We love our developers. So up at the top there, you'll see there'll be a special little toggle. So if you want to enter into code mode, you can just toggle over and you could design your template with just pure JSON.
Yeah. I think that's one of our greatest features is our drag and drop designers. So being able to make notifications that aren't ugly, especially whenever you're talking about like emails, which is generally pretty hard. Like I enjoy using our designer, and now we're going to have one for automations.
Yeah. Super cool. I'm excited.
Yeah. Well, cool. I mean, I think that's all we have for you. Anything else from you, Nate?
So every step that you can do through code, you can do through the visual designer.
Yep, exactly. You'll be able to add new steps, and then we'll provide like a nice form for you to kind of fill them out, some tooltips to help you, like, so you don't have to dig through all the documentation. And then it'll provide like a tree preview of how this actual automation will behave once it's invoked. So this will provide like a better editing experience, so you can kind of understand how things will behave if you don't want to just look at pure code.
Nice. Very great.
That's great.
Awesome.
Well, thank you, Chris. It's always great having you on, and we can't wait to talk about what you're doing currently next month.
Awesome. I'm excited. I'll keep you guys posted.
All right. Let me
Thanks, Chris.
switch things around.
Guys. Thank you.
Bye. All right. And so earlier we said that we're going to be talking to a new team. So this is our activation team joining our in-app and our automations team. And we are going to bring Ryland. So let me bring him onto the screen here. And he is also going to be sharing his screen.
Hi, guys.
Hey, Ryland.
Me.
So this is your first time on the stream. So I think we need to appropriately let you introduce yourself.
Absolutely. I'll do my best. So I've been a part of the product team at Courier since March. Before that, I had, worked for a couple of years putting together onboarding playbooks for larger companies, as well as redesigning CMS platforms for different large companies. So coming to this activation project has really been kind of a best of both worlds. And I'm very excited to represent them and do my best to represent them on this first stream with you guys.
Yeah. And so you joined the same time as Donnie. So Donnie is our product guy. And you two have been working very closely on this onboard flow. I think it's going to be really cool for the new users. I think it's going to be interesting for our existing users to see like how far we've come and what we're kind of bringing to the surface. So if you want to share your screen, I'll let you drive.
Absolutely. Let me get everything in a position here.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay.
So you're pretty excited to see all this, aren't you, Nate? I know that whenever you started a year ago, one of the things that you were working on was this activation flow, and so I think we made a lot of strides then, and it's exciting just to see how all this is evolving.
Yeah, I think this is a much more significant improvement, but I'm really excited.
Yeah,
cool. So really excited to show this off to you guys. One of our goals, with revamping this activation flow was to pair personalization with kind of some important one-time setup steps, and then send very useful, robust resources that help new tenants get up and running as quickly as possible. You'll see that there's kind of an element of bringing more of the functionality we have at Courier into the screens. So for folks who are less familiar with our product, they have more of a glimpse of the possibilities of what they can create and send it out through Courier. And we actually, it's supposed to serve as a little bit of a how-to guide. So hopefully maybe getting you to that aha moment in discovering the value of Courier by the end of this flow. You can tell me whether or not that works for you guys. But on this first page, to speak to some of that personalization, I'll add some weird capitalization in my name. You can see how the fields that are over on the right side change as I enter in information over on the left side. To add, a touch of personalization, if I didn't want to go by Ryland, if I wanted to add a nickname instead, Courier would have addressed me as such. And I can see how, some of these messages might render in kind of abstract renderings across our different channel types. So we have chat, SMS, mobile push, the in-app messages that Riley spoke to earlier on this stream, and then of course email as well. We'll go back to Ryland for posterity. And then, as far as like demonstrating the actual utility and your experience with Courier, I'm just asking, questions like, will you be the one integrating Courier with your code base? So you make sure that you have the right teammates involved with the workspaces that you set up. So I'll say yes here. Cool. One of those one-time setup maneuvers that we're trying to get you to do is to set up your brand. So everything is fitted for your company and your brand early in the process. We have a message that says, to show how the Courier Send API works, let's use it to send some handy resources your way. This is the actual message that you'll receive in your inbox. And we have a couple, test brands just showing, how different branding might render within an email across Courier or, something like Treva. I'm going to customize my brand and change the logo, colors to, maybe a green, maybe a blue. I'm going to go with a very Eastery theme here. Right there. Feel like, we're transitioning from spring to summer, but and then for logo, I think I'm going to drop this Treva logo that I have in here. And you can see, how, within a couple steps, I've already fit this email to work for my Ryland brand. So I'll save that. And then we want to demonstrate, just the depth of or the range of engineers that could work with this. So we not only have curl commands, but also Node, Go, PHP, Python, Ruby, and Java. So whatever, or however you want to integrate this into your code base, you should be able to find a way to do that within Courier. So I can show you what those different codes look like, across these different languages. I'm going to use curl personally and copy this to my clipboard. I'll show you what it looks like to actually, run this from my curl window here. And then, this is kind of the big drum roll moment here, but you can see that I actually get that welcome message sent validation right in this onboarding process. Another thing that we wanted to do was make it easier for you to set up teams. So it's not just you putting together notifications, but you and the network around you that is able to quickly send and configure, whatever notifications you want. So, I can quickly send a invite to myself. This is kind of an insular team right now. For Courier UX, but I can send it up to 20 different email addresses and send that. You can see how the messaging is a little bit more personalized as well, saying that Island wants you to join this team specifically. Yeah. And that's it. I get a little bit of a validation saying that my invite was sent out. And then I get dropped into this dashboard, which is a little bit different this month than it was in previous months. We have a welcome message up front. And then one of the things we're working on as the activation team is just making sure there are clear journeys for that first time user. In this call already, you've seen how we're pairing complex functionality with automations, some of the in-app designer workflows that Riley and Chris were running through with, some of those workflows where, if you're a first time user, we just want to get you set up and running as quickly as possible. And two of the things involved involve, making sure that you integrate a provider and create a notification. So we're, setting up some guardrails to make sure that you get to that moment as quickly and smoothly as possible.
Cool.
Yeah, that's really great. There's I love that we're kind of bringing brands to the front. So, we're essentially telling people right off to kind of set up that default brand. And then everything that you see going forward is going to look like that. So I know that we've talked about having kind of some standard templates available for people. And I think it'd be really cool for them to be able to jump in and be like, oh, look, there's a forgot my password template. And it looks, I can just use this because it looks like my brand.
Uh-huh. Absolutely. And you'll see, if I were to create a notification, we've saved all the details from that setup process. Mm-hmm. So, I have my logo in there. I've got that bold green headline that I decided to choose. But this is, setting you up for success a little bit there. And yeah, it's a continuing journey, but we're really excited with the progress that we've been able to make so far.
Very cool.
Yeah. What was your favorite part, Nate?
I think I like the interaction on the screen as you're typing your name and you're customizing the design of the welcome email that you're about to receive. So when you see that in your inbox, I think that'll be hopefully a really aha moment in itself.
Yeah, I think that's really great because we're actually using Courier to send the notifications from Courier. So I know we're getting more and more into what some people call dog fooding. I worked with somebody who preferred to say we drink our own champagne. She was very bougie, very fun. But it's nice to see that. And then, like you said, that kind of personalization. So whenever you see these messages in your inbox, I think they mean more to you as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, we just wanted to add a little bit of that personalization touch and a little bit of governance. Hopefully this feels as frictionless as possible as you set yourself up.
Yeah. So I know that you and Donnie have been working on this, but we also have we have Nat and
Yeah,
Tejas, who are
Tejas.
engineers who have been working on this every cycle, just making this incrementally better and better.
I can't speak enough to the positivity and the just the go-getter attitude of every person on that team.
Yeah.
I feel like, it's a lot of my role is making these small little critiques of pushing something a couple pixels that way and this couple pixels that way, which would be, I think, annoying to a lot of people. And the folks on, Nat, Tejas, Donnie are just so eager to improve everything that they tackle this and kind of just gobble them up as as lunch and breakfast, every single day. So it's been a joy to work with them.
Yeah, I remember working. It was like I did some in my past life. Whenever I was a front end engineer, I did a lot of things like this, and I remember like having the little meetings with our designers. And there was such a thing as redlining. I don't know if you call it that anymore, but basically, I would get back screenshots of the website that I built with like red lines all over it, telling me everything I did wrong. So, yeah, they've been very cheery, very very smiley through this whole process.
I guess it's a long way of me saying that I'm grateful to work with a team who has patience for my redlining, I suppose.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Cool.
Yeah, great work.
Yeah, and I think that's a good place to say we are hiring. So if you want to work with Ryland, work with any of us that you've seen, we are hiring. You can go to, and I'm going to put it in the chat here. If you go to courier.com/careers, that will take you to all of our openings, and we welcome you to apply. We have a lot of engineers who are ready to talk to you, to start the interview process, and it'd be great. So I know that, so typically we always do some kind of sneak peek where we're kind of showing what's coming next. So is there anything that you can kind of tell us about that the activation team is working on that we'll probably be talking about next month?
Yeah. I can't show my screen right now, but I can at least maybe leave some tantalizing details here a little bit, which is that I hinted a little bit about how we're continuing that setup journey, making sure that people are able to integrate providers as easily as possible, design their first notification as easily as possible. We're continuing that journey in this next month. Okay. Should have an exciting new integration process that I would love to demonstrate or have Donnie maybe demonstrate at the end of the month, and is something to look forward to. So stay tuned.
Awesome. And if you are a new user, or if you're a soon-to-be new user, because you can always join for free, those 10,000 messages a month, you can also join our Discord. So the link is in the chat, discord.gg/courier. You can come in and you can talk to Ryland. You can talk to Nat. You can talk to Tejas in Discord about your onboarding journey, things you liked, things you didn't like. If there was anything that you had problems with, we want to hear all of this feedback. So come in and talk to us, talk to other people using Courier. It'd be great. Yes, please do. Yeah. Well, I hope your first time on the stream was pretty painless, because we would love to have you back at some point. But thank you for coming on and walking through that. It's just a lot of exciting things, because I remember how Courier was whenever I got here, and just light years at sending notifications and getting started and everything set up.
Oh, well, thank you for having me. And look forward to showing off some of the future exciting work that we're doing in the months to come. Yeah, well, thank you. And I think we are just about done. So we'll say goodbye to Ryland.
See you, Ryland.
And then, yeah, that's it. So a lot of interesting stuff. I love the stuff that's coming out with the in-app, the presence. I think that's going to open up a lot of interesting possibilities for not just Slack as a channel, but presence, for a lot of different things.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and the automations UI. So if we get to see something from that at the end of June,
yeah,
there's some really exciting stuff coming. So
Yeah.
that week was really exciting to me.
I want to start doing a lot more stuff with automations. Now that it's GA, of course, last month it went GA. So it's available to everybody, right? There's no
I mean, you can use it now. The automations UI for being able to build them with a drag and drop is, I mean, that's going to take it to a whole nother level for folks like myself who are not, going to switch to code mode.
Right.
So that's really cool. But I mean, everything that you can do with automations is available now. So
yeah. So again, courier.com, go sign up for a free account. And if you're already a customer and you have not tried out automations, I encourage you to check it out. And if you're in Discord, shout out to Chris, shout out to any of us. We'll help you out. But I think that wraps up for this month. We will be back on the first Wednesday of next month, unless that Wednesday happens to be the 4th. But we will adjust accordingly, and we'll let you know. Yeah.
Cool.
Thanks,
Adrian.
Yeah. Thanks, Nate. And we'll see everyone later.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.